On a cold evening in New York City, the streets were crowded with people rushing home after work. Among them walked Daniel Hayes, a billionaire CEO known for his sharp business mind and powerful influence. But tonight, no one recognized him. He wore torn clothes, old shoes, and a worn-out jacket, his appearance carefully crafted to look like a homeless man. Daniel had always believed that true character is revealed in the way people treat those who have nothing, and he wanted to see it for himself. He slowly made his way into a busy supermarket, blending in as much as he could. The bright lights and warmth inside were a sharp contrast to the freezing air outside. As he walked through the aisles, people glanced at him with discomfort. Some whispered quietly, others avoided eye contact completely. A few even moved their carts away, as if his presence alone made them uneasy. Daniel observed everything silently, his heart growing heavy with each passing moment. After walking around for a while, he picked up a small bottle of water and a loaf of bread, simple items, yet essential. He headed toward the checkout counters, where lines of customers waited impatiently. At one of the counters stood a teenage cashier named Emily. She looked tired but focused, scanning items quickly while maintaining a polite smile for each customer. Despite the rush, there was something warm and genuine in her expression. When it was Daniel's turn, he stepped forward hesitantly and placed the items on the counter. Emily greeted him kindly, just as she did with everyone else, without any sign of judgment. As she scanned the items, Daniel reached into his pocket, pretending to search for money he didn't have. After a few seconds, he lowered his gaze, clearly embarrassed. "I'm sorry," he murmured softly. "I don't think I can pay for this." There was a brief silence. The people in line behind him began to grow restless, some sighing in annoyance. Daniel slowly reached for his items, ready to put them back and leave. But before he could move, Emily gently stopped him. Without making a scene, she opened her wallet and paid for the items herself. Her actions were calm and natural, as if it was the most normal thing in the world. Daniel looked at her in surprise. "You don't have to do this," he said quietly. Emily simply smiled and replied, "It's okay. Everyone needs a little help sometimes." There was no pity in her voice, only kindness. She handed him the bag and wished him a good evening, treating him with the same respect she showed every other customer. As Daniel walked out of the store, the cold air hit him again. But something inside him had changed. In a world where many judged him within seconds, one young girl had chosen compassion without hesitation. For the first time that night, Daniel felt a sense of warmth. Not from the store, but from a simple act of genuine human kindness that he would never forget. The next morning, Emily arrived at the supermarket just like any other day, unaware that her small act of kindness had already set something extraordinary in motion. She tied her hair back, put on her uniform, and stepped behind the counter, ready to begin her shift. Everything felt normal. Yet there was a strange, nervous energy in the air she couldn't quite explain. A few hours into her shift, her manager approached her with a serious expression and asked her to come to the office. Emily's heart began to race. She wondered if she had done something wrong. Maybe paying for that man's groceries had broken a company rule. Trying to stay calm, she walked toward the office, preparing herself for the worst. When she opened the door, she froze in place. Sitting inside was the same man from the night before, but he looked completely different. Gone were the torn clothes and tired appearance. Instead, he was dressed in a perfectly tailored suit, confident and composed. For a moment, Emily couldn't even recognize him. Then it hit her, and her eyes widened in shock. The man stood up and smiled warmly. "Good morning, Emily," he said. "My name is Daniel Hayes." The name alone was enough to make her heart skip a beat. She had heard about him before. Everyone had. He was one of the most successful CEOs in the country. Emily felt speechless, her mind struggling to understand what was happening. Daniel gently explained everything. He told her how he sometimes disguised himself to see how people treated those in need. He spoke about the way others had avoided him, judged him, or ignored him completely. Then his expression softened as he looked at her. "But you," he said, "you didn't hesitate. You didn't ask questions. You simply chose to help." Emily felt a mix of emotions: confusion, surprise, and even a little embarrassment. "I was just doing what felt right," she said quietly. "Anyone would have done the same." Daniel shook his head slightly. "No," he replied, "not everyone does. That's what makes your kindness so rare." He went on to tell her that her actions had deeply moved him. In a world driven by money and success, he believed people like her were the ones who truly made a difference. Then, to her complete astonishment, he made her an offer. He promised to fund her entire college education, covering all expenses so she could pursue her dreams without worry. Emily's eyes filled with tears as she tried to process his words. But Daniel wasn't finished. He also offered her a future opportunity, a position in his company once she completed her studies. "We need people like you," he said, "people with heart, integrity, and compassion." Emily could hardly believe it. What she had done without expecting anything in return had changed her life in ways she never imagined. She thanked him sincerely, her voice trembling with emotion. Daniel simply smiled, satisfied that his experiment had revealed something truly valuable. As Emily left the office, everything felt different. The world seemed brighter, full of possibilities she had never dared to dream of before. And Daniel, watching her go, felt reassured in his belief that true wealth isn't measured by money, but by the kindness we choose to show, especially when no one is watching.